player has just gone over his points prop in 7 of his last 8 games. The box scores are glowing, the clips are everywhere, and the next line looks like the easiest over on the board. This is exactly where a lot of bettors get trapped, because a hot streak feels like evidence that the next result is already halfway decided. But a hot streak is not a bet, it is a clue, and sometimes it is a very expensive clue. The hidden risk is that the streak you can see is usually the part of the story the market has already noticed. The real question is what created it, whether that condition is still present, and whether the new line has already charged you for it. The first thing I separate is a hot outcome from a hot process. Those sound similar, but they are not. A player can clear a points line because his role genuinely expanded, because he started taking better shots, or because the defense kept giving him the same matchup. That is process. But he can also clear it because several difficult shots went in, because the opponent missed rotations, or because 2 games went to overtime. That is an outcome. The box score records both in the same column, even though they have very different value for the next game. Imagine a player who has gone over 21.5 points in 7 of 8 games. Before touching the pick, I want to know how many minutes he played, how many shots he took, how many free throws he attempted, and whether his team was actually in competitive games. If his minutes moved from 26 to 34 and his usage moved with them, the streak may be telling us something useful. If the minutes stayed flat while he made a series of contested threes, the streak may be mostly variance wearing a convincing costume. That leads to the second risk. The line moves. A bettor remembers the recent results and forgets that the market has adjusted. The line can move from 21.5 to 24.5, or from a modest overprice to something much more expensive. Because everyone is looking at the same heater, the player may still be better than his old average, but that does not mean the new number is profitable. A streak has to be compared with the number in front of you, not the number from 8 games ago. If the player averaged 23 points during the hot run and the current line is 24.5, the extra point and a half needs to be justified by a lasting change in opportunity. If the line has absorbed the production, you are betting on an upgraded expectation while paying for the excitement that created it. The third risk is sample size. 8 games can feel substantial because the results are lined up in a row, but it is still a small slice of a long season. We remember the player who went over 7 of 8, not the dozens who went over 4 of 5 and disappeared. Once you search enough players, stats, splits, and opponents, some combination will look perfect. A strong record is not automatically a strong forecast. It has to survive new data and remain useful after the line reacts. There is also an important nuance here. Saying that a streak can be misleading does not mean every hot hand is imaginary. Sports research has found mixed results. Short-term performance can contain real information when it reflects skill, health, role, or a sport-specific environment. But shot difficulty, defensive adjustments, and statistical bias can also make a streak look more predictive than it is. In baseball, recent performance may carry signal in ways that do not translate directly to basketball. The sport and the mechanism matter more than the headline record. The fourth risk is that the streak changes the player's environment. A player who has been scoring efficiently may see the opponent's best defender, more help at the rim, fewer clean shots, or a different coverage. A long run of heavy minutes can create fatigue, while a comfortable lead can cut those minutes without warning. The same player can be genuinely in good form while the next matchup is still a bad over because the conditions are different. Before I bet a player coming off a hot streak, I want 4 answers. First, did the opportunity change, or did the results simply spike? Second, has the current line moved enough to erase the original value? Third, does the matchup support the same shot quality, minutes, and role? And fourth, am I looking at the entire sample, including the misses and the games that explain the context? Or am I only collecting evidence for the pick I already want? This is also where I use parlai, pronounced parlai, because the value is not just asking for a prediction from a static box score. Parlai brings live statistics and context into the analysis, including injuries, lineups, roles, matchup details, and market information that can change close to game time. You can use one AI model for a focused opinion, compare several models, and let the system reflect on previous losses so the analysis learns from what actually happened. That matters for hot streaks because a live research process can separate a real change in opportunity from a flashy run of results. If minutes are up, the lineup is different, and the matchup supports the same role, the streak may point to a new baseline. If the line has jumped, a teammate has returned, and the production came from an unsustainable shooting stretch, the same streak may be a reason to slow down. You can find parlai at parlai.cc. Current context matters more than an old game log. Here is the way I would handle the example from the beginning. A player has cleared 21.5 in 7 of 8, and the new line is 24.5. I would not start by asking whether he is hot enough to go over again. I would rebuild the projection from the inputs: expected minutes, expected attempts, usage, matchup, pace, injury news, and the price. Then I would compare that projection with the current line. If the number still leaves room after the market adjustment, the streak supports the case. If the line has caught up, the streak is no longer an edge. It is simply the reason the price is higher. The best bettors do not ignore hot streaks. They use them as the beginning of the investigation, then ask what would have to stay true for the next result to resemble the last one. A player can be hot and still be overpriced. A player can cool off and still be a good bet if the opportunity is better than the market understands. The box score tells you what happened. Your job is to decide whether the conditions that produced it are still there at the number you are being offered. So the next time a player is on fire, do not automatically fade him, and do not automatically follow him. Check the role, the matchup, the workload, the full sample, and most importantly, the price. A hot streak can reveal an edge, but it can also hide the moment that edge has already been taken away. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only. No bet is guaranteed, so make decisions carefully.